Hello friends, welcome back to the homestead. Today we're going to try and satiate our chickens' need to drink water. I don't understand why they're so demanding, but they are. You may hear them mocking me, even though I'm not a comedian. They're heckling me from the distance from time to time. So just in case you hear that, understand that they just aren't nice chickens. So we're going to make a chicken water. So I've made one when we had 4 chickens. Sadly, this is back when we were in the city. We lost 2 to hawks. The hawks are seriously on the hunt for chickens. They're like us, like they love to eat chicken. So yeah, the hawks got 2 of our chickens, sadly. But when we only had 4 chickens, I ran to Ace Hardware and picked up a clean paint can. And I drilled holes. I think I had 3 water cups in there, so it's gravity fed. As the water fills into the cup drops down and it seals off so water doesn't spill out. But that was a couple of years ago, and I'll show you that can here in a bit, but it's gotten rusted over the last couple of years. We now have 15 chickens. I have another watering system as well that I use, which is designed actually out of an igloo cooler, and I may, like a water cooler, and I may show that as well at some point. But even that has taken a toll over the last couple of years. We did the cooler one actually to keep the water warm, and I used a heating element in there. I'm building. I don't have all the parts yet, and this is going to be another video because I'm waiting on a couple of fittings that are, don't get me started, it's been a nightmare. But anyway, waiting on a couple fittings. They should be here tomorrow. But I'm building a heated watering system for the chickens using a 50-gallon food grade, food safe water barrel. And I'll show a video on that. It's going to be heated. There'll be a pump. It'll, fill it. It'll be good for weeks. The water will stay clean. The problems I found with the paint can system that I built with the water cups, for those of you that are just starting to do this, is that inevitably those get really dirty. They need to be cleaned out every day. Because the chickens, when they eat, they peck at everything, the dirt, the whatever, and then they go into the water with their beaks and it gets dirty. So you're constantly having to empty it out, fill it back up, wash out the water cups. So what we're doing today, and I'm actually missing something I'll have to go and get, but what we're doing today is we're building an intermediary, and I'm going to use this. This will just be an augmented watering aspect, I guess, to the chickens, primarily for next summer. We're just doing this for a temporary fix for now because the paint can has rusted and it's leaking, and that's not good. You got to fill it every couple hours. Who has time for that? We want our chickens to be kind of self-sustained, not needing our efforts all the time. So we're going to build a watering system. Tools that are required. We need drill bits. These I just picked up. I think it's a good idea because I go through so many drill bits and I break them all the time and whatnot. Just cheap ones for cheap things. I'm not drilling through anything important. I just picked these up at Harbor Freight. I don't know like $10 or something. They're not. It's cheap. It's cheap. But what's nice is that there's so many bits to this. I have everything I need. And if I break a couple bits, big deal. I'll just go buy another pack, and I have a whole another pack. I find there's only certain bits that I use all the time. Weird, I know, but it just seems to be how it is. There's like 4 or 5 bits in here that I actually use. We need a marker, little felt tip. I actually love these. I like to carry one of these on me daily because it's got both the thick tip that we're used to, but also it's got the little fine tip. And I love this because I can use this to, write notes or, sign a check or whatever I'm doing. I try not to write too many checks, but yeah, this is just super handy for everyday tasks out here on the homestead. I buy these things by the half dozen or something, so I always try and have them on me. And we'll need a drill. Again, this is another Harbor Freight tool. I've gone through a couple of these, but Harbor Freight's great. When I bust one, they take it back, or at least they have been thus far, because I generally bust them pretty quick if I bust them. But the ones I have now seem to be holding up pretty good. So that's another Harbor Freight one for you. And then we're going to need a 5-gallon bucket. Here, I'm sitting on it. So what you want to make sure is that it's a food safe bucket. You don't want to be getting your chickens sick with anything that they are not to be consuming. So this is just going to hold the water, and all we're going to do is we're going to go up, I don't know, a couple inches. We'll mark some holes. I'll probably do 4 holes, and I'm going to have to go and we've got these cool little horizontal water nipples that are going to go on here. So just gonna drill some holes, zip in these little water nipples that are horizontal, not a cup, and I'll show those to you in a minute. Again, key to keeping it clean so you don't have to deal with it. You fill this up even for 15 chickens, and it's gonna last easy a couple days, 2-3 days. So you're not gonna have to be filling it up all the time or cleaning it, because we'll take and add a lid on top of it. Chickens can hop on top, do whatever they want. But so yeah, we're gonna get started on that. I'm gonna go get the water nipples that I forgot. All right, so we're back with our water nipples. So these are actually pretty cool. These are cool. I'm not sure if I can get this in focus. You can see that, the way it works. So it sits this way with this little lip pointing out, and then the chickens peck on this metal. They peck at that, but on the back side, when they do that, it opens up. There's a little rubber like O-ring right here. And so that allows water. So this screws in, threads into the bucket. So it sits outside. Let's say the bucket is right here. This sits outside. Chickens peck at this, water spills out. They're able to drink. And as they push in, it allows water to flow in. When they let go, that seals it up so that water won't leak back out. We're going to use these same nipples in our heated watering system, which we'll show you. In fact, may even work on some of that today and video that a little bit today. But this is just going to go into a PVC pipe, and there's going to be like 4 nipples on that as well. So same nipples we're going to use for that. That being said, because you're always going to find some other use for them, so I picked up a bag of 20 of these. I just got it right off Amazon. We'll put a link somewhere maybe below the video or somewhere within here. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But highly recommend just grabbing a bag of like 20 of them. And by the way, if you do anything like this, anything that we recommend and provide links for, it doesn't cost you anymore. But if you click on that link and make your purchase through that link, it helps support the channel. So we appreciate that. All right, so one other thing I forgot to mention, tape measure. Always handy to have one of those. So, all right, all we're gonna do, we're gonna take our bucket, take our marker, gonna measure down. I don't wanna get right to the bottom of the bucket. So I wanna be, I don't know, maybe like 2 inches probably. So I'm just doing this randomly. Your chickens don't care if it's perfect. I certainly don't care if it's perfect. So I'm just making some 2-inch marks kind of at random here. It is nice to space it apart. I've watched our chickens drink, and they will peck at each other sometimes, you know, the chicken pecking order. So they will peck at each other a little bit. The more dominant chickens get to drink first, and the others just simply wait their turn, so it's not the end of the world. But it is nice to give them access so they don't have to fight for their food or their water. They appreciate that. So now I believe that these, the manufacturer of these chicken nipples, water nipples, and I believe that they specify what drill bit to use. I can't remember. I think they say either 5/16 or 11/32. I have, hey, we have a little friend here, a little chipmunk with its mouth full running by. Hi, Chip. So this particular drill set has a 21/64 bit, so it's right in between the two. We'll give that a whirl. We'll see how that works. So all we're gonna do, real simple, we're just gonna drill a hole in each of these spots that I'm just gonna try one actually to make sure it works. Make sure the nipple fits in there with nice and snug. It would help if I had it on the drill setting and not the screw setting. So just like that, we'll take our water nipple and see. So these have a tapered thread. I was just talking about tapered threads with a friend earlier. Parallel threads versus tapered threads. That's going to be another video actually, because we've had a lot of issues, not a lot, but enough issues to be really frustrating here on the homestead with all things water or hydraulics, going from British standard pipe thread to national pipe thread, US standard pipe thread, and they aren't the same thing. and trying to, oh, this is kind of hard to turn, trying to get those to go from a British standard thread to a national thread, to a US thread, can be difficult trying to find those adapters. All right, so as we're doing this, screwing this in, what we want, so remember this is going to be sitting this way, so what we want is this, oh, that's tight. We want this nipple to be sitting with this long edge pointing out at the bottom. It's got to be pointing straight out and down at the bottom of the barrel. And that way, the water will kind of collect right there, sort of like the cups that we used to have, but without holding all the debris. So the chicken will push on this, which, if you can see inside the barrel, when the chicken pushes on that, you can see that open up. And when the chicken lets go, it sucks back in, so it keeps the water from flowing outside the nipple. And just like that, we should have a decent watering system. Before I drill more, I'm going to just test this. I'm going to put some water in here and see how it works, just to make sure I'm not screwing it up. All right, so we're just going to take a hose, fill the bucket, and see how well this works. Hopefully, I didn't mess up the hole or turn it too many times. So one thing I just realized is that I think it is possible to overturn the nipple to try and screw it in. I was trying to get it totally flush with the bucket, and that didn't happen. All right, so I now have it filled over the top of the nipple, and look at that, no drips, which is a good sign. And now the chickens will come up and push on this, and you can see how the water, as soon as they peck at it, the water comes out, they fill their beak, and they drink. I think we have a winner. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on the other holes that or the other marks that I made around the bucket. Give them 4 little watering holes, and I think we got a winner here, folks. So I realized in my infinite wisdom, so this is going to be inside of the chicken coop. I'm not intending to heat this, but just temporarily it's going to be in there. But I do want to have a lid on it because our chickens, to access this has to be pretty low, and our chickens love to hop up. All chickens love to jump on things, get up in the air. So they're definitely going to want to jump up on this, and they're going to want on top of this, and if they do, they're going to poop in the water, and that's not good. So we're going to want to put a lid on there. But now I'm realizing that if I put a lid on here and seal it, that it's going to create a vacuum, and the water's not going to want to flow out like we would want it to for the chickens. So I'm thinking we need to put in a hole or holes. I'm not quite sure where. I'll just put one in and we'll see what happens. But just so that we have, that'll be enough. Just so that we don't create a vacuum. That's all we're trying to do, is to not create a vacuum. So having that hole there will enable me to seal the lid on here, and hopefully they don't poop in the hole. All right, let's go give this to the chickens. Okay, so this is the old water that we're replacing. You can see the little cups that would hold, they'd both land on top of here and poop inside those, but also the straw and miscellaneous stuff that gets in. So this would have to be cleaned all the time, but it's just not enough water for 15 chickens. They go through it too quickly. And you can see how it's wet around here on that one and also on this one. Those seals were going bad and it was leaking. You can see the can is starting to rust. So we're going to retire this one and we're going to use our new waterer until we get our heated watering system in, which will probably happen in the next week because we're now in early November. It's getting a little chilly out here. We have had this water freeze already, so it's time for some heated water and an automatic chicken door, which is going to be installed right over here.